wanted to bring our very own Arlene Foster in now, former First Minister of Northern Ireland. Arlene, look, absolutely fantastic to have you on the show. Thank you very much, and hopefully we might be able to see your reaction as well after Joe Biden eventually shuffles up to the podium and gives us some of his sage wisdom. But do you regret saying that you think he hates the UK?
No, I don't regret that. I think he has a disdain from the UK, and he had very carefully scripted words when he was in Belfast, which I think was very much appreciated by all of those present. Mention of the Ulster Scots community, who of course helped to build modern America. But once he's off script, Patrick, I think he reverts to type, and he was talking about his cousin, Rob Kearney, who of course plays for the Ireland rugby team. And he said he beat up the black and tans instead of saying he beat the All Blacks. Now, why would somebody be thinking about the black and tans? Just for our listeners and viewers, the black and tans are a recruited force that was brought in at the time of the War of Independence in Ireland. And they were hated by Irish Republicans. They came mostly from Great Britain. They were soldiers, many of them, who had served in World War I. And even to this day, Irish Republicans have songs about the black and tans. So why would a president be thinking about the black and tans when he's actually should be thinking about the All Blacks? I mean, I think it goes to his mindset in relation to what happens in Ireland.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you. Do you think, Arlene, that there might be a case to suggest that the people of the Republic of Ireland are actually being shamelessly used by President Joe Biden here, who I am not convinced is absolutely as clued up as he might like to sound like he is on the hotbed of issues and the real proper history of the island of Ireland? Maybe they are just being used as a cheap vote-winning scheme back over in the United States. I don't know. What do you think?
Well, look, I mean, I have no doubt because the president is the president of the United States, and it's always an honour to have someone of that office come to your country. And I think people in Belfast felt that. People in Dublin undoubtedly feel that as well. But what I was trying to point out was that he hasn't been even-handed in relation to Northern Ireland. He was when he came the other day. I acknowledge that. Of course, I acknowledge that in a scripted speech. But I'm just pointing out the fact that he is not always balanced in relation to Northern Ireland. And it's funny, you know, the reaction I have had from unionists here in Northern Ireland has been overwhelmingly positive in relation to what I had to say in relation to Biden. Obviously, I've had some cranks sending me threats and what have you, the usual sort of thing. But I have to say, for unionists in Northern Ireland, they were glad that someone was actually speaking up and saying, here's what this man has said in the past about Protestants, about unionists who live in Northern Ireland. Thankfully, somebody has acknowledged that. And that's all I was doing, acknowledging that there were issues that he had raised in the past that weren't exactly diplomatic. I acknowledge he was diplomatic in Belfast on Tuesday or Wednesday when he came, but that was because he gave a scripted speech.
Yeah, look, absolutely. And I think anyone will be able to see that, Arlene. And I just want to, if you don't mind, just me ask you a bit about how personal this is for you, because we all know, sadly, obviously, what happened to your father. And is it a little bit offensive or risky, do you think, for Joe Biden to be so casual with the way that he appears to be? I just wonder whether or not he's actually doing more to whip up tensions than he realises.
Well, no, I don't think he's whipping up tension. I think the office of the President of the United States is a very powerful one. And in the past, the office of the President of the United States has been helpful in relation to Northern Ireland. Dare I say, Bill Clinton attempted to be even-handed at the time of the Belfast Agreement. He's coming here next week again with his wife Hillary Clinton, and it will be acknowledged that he has tried at least to be even-handed. But the point I was making is that Joe Biden's record has not been even-handed, and I think that has to be acknowledged. And I think just to push it all away and say that's a nonsense is not actually recognising some of the things that he has said in the past, which have been very offensive, frankly, to those of us from a British tradition living here in Northern Ireland.
Could I just get you to elaborate a little bit on that then, Arlene? I know you and I are surrounded by the news on a daily basis, so what you said there might seem obvious to us, but perhaps there are people watching now who won't necessarily be able to recall off the top of their head some of the things that you yourself find so offensive from Joe Biden. So could you give some examples?
Well, OK. Yeah, I will give some examples. So back in 1985, when we had a special relationship between President Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, he opposed attempts to make extradition easier, in other words, to bring IRA suspects from America back to Northern Ireland to face trial. He opposed that in the Senate when he was a senator. He has made comments that if you wear orange, you're not welcome. That was when he was vice president. He made those comments, and of course, those of us from an orange tradition here in Northern Ireland find that offensive. He is very proud of the fact that his mother refused to sleep in a bed that Her late Majesty the Queen slept in. He thinks that that is something to be very proud of as well. And he continuously makes comments when he goes on foreign visits about Irish matters. So, for example, when he was in the West Bank recently, he made comments about the fact that because he was Irish American, he could understand how the Palestinians felt because he was from a Catholic background in Ireland, implying, of course, that the UK was similar to Israel in connection with Palestine. So he makes all of these comments, and that was just what I was reflecting on. And then, of course, he's made the comments about the black and tan since he's arrived here on the island of Ireland, and he made those just last night.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Arlene, thank you very much. Absolute pleasure.